today's song, Whom Shall I Fear?
Salvation. close of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another, as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as dear children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as become saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather given of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth, therefore let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's Holy Sabbath Day. We have recently got a few questions about the state of Israel and how we came to be. You know, we can deal with that we're Israel over and over. It still doesn't change how we're going to have to walk if we're going to attain unto our salvation. But there's so many things that have to come into play when you deal with the redemption of the children of Israel. But to fully understand that, we have to go through some of the things that got us to where we are. And Yahweh Elohim, he ends up telling us beforehand the things that are going to take place. We got the curses at the same time we got the blessings. It wasn't some kind of thing that happened, you know, oh, he got upset and then he told us, no. At the same time, he told us all the good things that were going to happen if we did what we were supposed to do. He also told us all the bad. That is how a righteous agreement is made, that all of the information is given up front. Then we decided to sign the contract. We said all that Yahweh has said we will do. So when these things started to come upon our people, it was not a surprise. And Yahweh says in his book, I don't do anything unless I tell my servants, the prophets, first. So when you go through and start backtracking before these things come to play, you're going to see where he will send his prophets. And it was a very dangerous job for him to send his prophets to go and proclaim these things, because when the people don't like what's being said, we come at the prophets hard. So Yahweh is sending these prophets to go and tell Israel what's about to happen. That is a very, very dangerous place, because you're telling them about destruction, but they living good at that point. So you sound like a heretic. You sound like, a real problem child. You are the serious problem, because none of this stuff has taken place at that point. But Yahweh has to abide by his own rules that he set up. He said, I'm not going to do anything unless I tell my servants, the prophets, first. So I'm going to tell them, I'm going to get them to tell you, and then these things are going to come to pass before your eyes. So today we're going to deal with Israel and that fourth kingdom, or fourth empire, or as it was better listed, the fourth beast, because these empires have completely come upon the earth, and you can tell that they have a beast-like spirit in how they have dealt with things, especially when it pertains to the children of Israel. We're going to begin today's sermon in Zechariah chapter 5. Zechariah chapter 5, and we're going to read verses 1 through 11.
Zechariah chapter 5 and verse 1. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, What seeth you? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Then said he unto me, This is the curse that goes forth over the face of the whole earth. For every one that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it. And every one that swears shall be cut off as on that side according to it. I'll bring it forth, says Yahweh of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name. And it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof.
So you have a spiritual curse that's going to cause physical problems. Go ahead.
Verse 5. Then the angel that talked with me went forth, and said unto me, Lift up now your eyes, and see what is this that goes forth. And I said, What is it? And he said, This is an ephod that goes forth. He said, moreover, This is their resemblance through all the earth. And behold, there was lifted up a talent of lead, and this is a woman that sitteth in the midst of the ephod. And he said, This is wickedness. And he cast it into the midst of the ephod, and he cast the weight of the lead upon the mouth thereof. Then lifted I up mine eyes, and looked, and behold, there came out two women, and the wind was in their wings, for they had wings like the wings of a stork.
And this is part of the thing that we have to deal with. We have been shown all these images of angels with wings, but when you get right down to it, the things that end up having these wings are either beasts or some demonic situation. It's never a good thing. And all we've ever seen is angels with wings. And if you run into something with wings, you need to be very weary of running up on that thing, because this particular thing is bringing forth some evil. But we see some wings and we like, oh, we good. We don't even consider. You do know it's demons too, right? You do know that even if you thought that, okay, that's what an angel looked like, how you know that that's a good one? There's good and bad people, right? So then there must be good and bad angels. When we read this book, it says Lucifer and his angels. So he got people on his side. Go ahead.
And they lifted up the ephod between the earth and the heaven. Then said I to the angel that talked with me, Whether do these bear the ephod? And he said unto me, To build it an house in the land of Shinar, and it shall be established. and set thereupon her own base.
Okay, so then what we're looking at here is the setting up of Babel. Shinar is Babel. So we're talking about the vision going forth that this empire of Babylon is about to come upon the earth, and it's not pretty. But this is coming forth from Yahweh, so that we understand some things. Let's go to Daniel. Back up a couple books. We're going to go Daniel chapter 7. So Yahweh is just not dealing with the people we know and in our church. Yahweh is dealing with the whole world. The earth and the fullness therein belongs to him. So we have to consider something. When you read these things about Nebuchadnezzar, he says, my servant. Because it's some things that I'm going to need for him to do, and he's going to bring it to pass. Daniel chapter 7, let's start that at verse 1.
In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heavens strove upon the great sea. And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another.
So then Yahweh is showing Israel what is going to happen. He says, I don't do anything unless I tell my servants, the prophets, first. He gives these things to Israel so that Israel will have a get right period. See, but our problem is we don't like to listen when the things don't sound favorable. See, if they will come telling us about a party, we'll go ahead and start getting dressed. But when they start talking about doom, we not getting ready for the doom. But we'll get ready for the party. We done picked out 3-4 outfits. You know, we trying to match up the shoes with the rest of the outfit. We getting ready. He sends his prophets before destruction. But like I said, that's a very, very difficult place to stand. It's one thing if destruction is actually happening. It's harder to talk to people in a peaceful time and explain to them about the rainy days ahead. Go ahead.
The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it.
All right, so then this first beast or empire was Babylon under the reign of King Nebuchadnezzar, the head of gold that was depicted in another part of the book and was handed to his son. That's who's reigning now, this Belshazzar. And this kingdom existed from 606 BC with the sack of Jerusalem until 536 BC. So this is then this lion with wings. Go ahead.
And behold, another beast, a second like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh.
Now, we can line these things up with our encyclopedias. This same stuff is going to be in our secular history books. But if you don't know, where to look, then you don't know which things to connect together. Now, the second empire was the Medo-Persian Empire. That Medo-Persian is Russians and Iranians. And I need you to just pause for a second. Now, think about who are friends to this day. Russians and Iranians. Every time there's an issue with Iran, who pops up out of the darkness? Here comes Russia. What's y'all problem? Y'all got a problem? It's the same stuff that's been there. This is not new. We act like we're seeing some kind of new union between the Russians and the Iranians. They ruled together way long time ago. They tell us to forget. our past and history. Nobody else does. And they all trying to get back for things that happened to them many, many moons ago. So then we have this Medo-Persian Empire was the breast and the arm of Nebuchadnezzar's image. The breast and the arms were of silver, which is slightly inferior to gold. And this empire existed from 536 BC until 332 BC. So when you deal with this image, then you got the beast on one side and you got the image on the other side. Keep in mind that the image, as far as how it is, its strength is declining little by little. It starts as a head of gold. Then it drops down to the breasts and arms. They're silver. That's of lesser value than gold. Well, there's a period of time before something gets weak enough for it to finally fall. But understand, these are things that are being given to our people about other nations that are going to rule basically the whole earth. So a lot of times there's a little confusion as to how we got to this point. It didn't just jump out of the blue. Go ahead.
Verse 6. After this I beheld, and lo, another, like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it.
Now, if you have a study Bible, this stuff is mentioned right above the passage. It says the world empire of Greece under Alexander the Great. This is already listed. So you can then just stop, close your Bible, go to your encyclopedia, and find the very stuff that's in here. So then when we deal with this third empire, which is the Greek Empire, in 331 BC, the hips and the thighs of brass, which is now inferior to silver, conquering and expanding his empire in 12 years, Alexander the Great overthrew the Medes and the Persians in warfare, and was represented by the goat and the ram in Daniel 8. After Alexander's death, the Greek Empire was divided into 4 territories, each headed by one of his generals: Seleucid, Ptolemy, Cassander, and Lysicomus, from 320 BCE until 146 BC. So when we deal with these things, you're dealing with Israel has to be underfoot under all of these things. And that throws us off because we're trying to figure out how we ended up in this situation. But these are kingdoms that the adversary, the devil, is ruling over. And he's trying to use these kingdoms to punish the children of Israel as much as possible. Go ahead.
Verse 7. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns.
And as we keep reading, you're going to see with all of the things that Daniel was given. Understand, it says, if you go back to verse 1, it says, in the first year of Belshazzar the king. So this thing starts with Nebuchadnezzar, Belshazzar's father. This is the time where Daniel is in. But when you keep reading, Daniel want to know about the 4th. Daniel didn't ask a whole bunch of questions about the others, because he understood it's in this 4th beast that the children of Israel are going to be delivered. So let's not even talk about 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, I know I'm living. See, our issue is we would want to know about 1, because that's where we live. See, we want to know about the one that affects us right now. Tell me about this one. No. I don't even want to talk about this one. Let's talk about, and understand, he knows he's not going to be living during the 4th one. So his concern was not about him. His concern was about his people. Talk to me about this 4th beast. Give me all the details about this one that's going to fall, because basically all of these kingdoms, they're just fighting over the same territory. Okay? They're just fighting one another. This is the rulership of the Euro Gentiles. And they're ruling the earth. They're just fighting over certain lands, taking certain things from one another, but they're still in rulership even while all of this is going on. And he is concerned about his people, not himself. Go ahead.
Verse 8. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots.
Now, the first thing we have to do is this fourth empire was Rome in 146 BC with the legs of iron and toes of miry clay. So when you look at this image, you first of all understand that iron and clay does not mix. So this is a fragmented kingdom. So when you consider all of the things that went down with the Roman Empire and how it fell, it was the very thing that caused it to shine, because of all of these mixed kingdoms and mixed people that they had conquered. It ended up being the very fragmented thing that caused it this problem. The 2 legs represent the division which took place in 1154 AD, and after a long rule, the so-called Holy Roman Catholic Church split into Western and Eastern Orthodox Christianity as it is today. The fragmented toes are the Protestant denominations, which shall be smashed by Yeshua upon his return. This will destroy the image and end the rule of the Gentiles. Rome fell in 476 AD. So when we are talking about all of the things that ended up taking place, we're talking about this Catholic Church being the only thing that's around and survive, because one thing they knew, once they destroyed us as a people and scattered us all across the face of the earth, they were able to do whatever they wanted to do with the word. You read in Acts about how the Apostle Paul is going and setting up all these churches. Well, they gobbled up all of those things and then set up their own thing. This is why when you even consider what the Pope says, that he is the vigor of God, he is God's representative here on earth. Where is Israel? So he has completely wiped those things out in their mind they have. So then we have these 2 parts of Babylon. We have the political part of Babylon, which is Rome and the European rule. But then you have that separate part, which is the Catholic Church. And it is extremely powerful. We're talking about the Vatican is probably the size of Stonecrest Mall. I mean, it's some little small thing that is completely sovereign. And they had to set up some people to do that, but they're completely sovereign. This is why no matter how many children the Catholic priest molests, how many of them you seen go to jail? Come on. How many of them you seen go to jail? Yet it's not a secret and everybody know they doing it. So why is it they can't go to jail? Because they have diplomatic immunity. That's not a church. They have it listed as a country. You can't just lock up diplomats from another country. So they get to go all over the world, grab people's children, and do whatever they want to do to them. And the Pope protects them. This has been going on forever. All of a sudden, people want to get outraged because a few things made it to the news. This ain't new. Go ahead.
You know, there's that old saying of the apple don't fall too far from the tree. We're outraged when we see it's happening in Christianity, but what? That's just the birth child of Catholicism. So don't be surprised when you see that now these preachers are doing the same thing. They just follow what the mother church is doing.
Bottom line, the fragmented toes are the Protestants. A Protestant would be what we call Baptist, Methodist, Episcopal, all of those just broke away from the Catholic Church. The bottom line, if you are a Christian, you're a Catholic, whether you know it or not. Every holiday that is set up in Christianity came from the Catholics. They made all the decisions. And basically, those denominations are just one disagreement. And nobody even remembers what the disagreement is. We don't know the difference between a Baptist and a Methodist. Baptists and Methodists don't know the difference between Baptists and Methodists. They don't even know what the disagreement is. That's why you start seeing at a certain point Catholic commercials that were saying, come back home. Who y'all talking to? Who you talking to? Who left your house? What are you talking about? They talking to Christians. They don't remember that they're really Catholic. All that communion and all that, where y'all think it come from? They're Catholics. Christians didn't make any of this stuff up. All of this stuff came from the Catholics who never wanted anybody to have a book. You don't even understand the power of what you have in your hand. People got burned alive for you to have that book. The Catholics said, no. We don't want it translated. We don't want you to just come talk to us. We'll tell you what to do. Don't ask no questions, and no, you don't need to read it. Now you understand why that church was able to rule for so long. Once they got rid of all our people, he said, hey, we the only ones that know what to do. And make sure that they don't ever find out. And if they never find out, you'll never know whether they telling you if it's right or wrong. Because you never had a book to read it. He said, yeah, this is what you need to do. You did what? Okay, do a 4 Hail Marys and 2 Hello Dollars and give me $100,000. What? What? Okay, well, show me what that's written. Or you can't read it. It's in Latin. What? Now, they needed you not to be able to read it. So you wouldn't be able to read the covenant to find out. Man, that's not what it say. That's how you rule. And that's how they've been able to rule for so long. And by the time people come up out of it, understand, they own half the earth. They have so many things that they own. This little bitty place is the richest square inch of the world is in that place. They own things everywhere. And they did it through murder and mayhem. Because one part of that power being this ecclesiastical part of Babylon, then they were able to get the other part of Babylon to do all of its dirty work. Go ahead, bro.
And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things. Verse 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down.
All right, so then this ecclesiastical Babylon then is the religious part of Babylon. And then when you deal with those 3 little horns, you have the Herulus, the Vandals, and the Viscots who sacked the Holy Roman Empire, so-called Holy Roman Empire. I have to remember to say every time I read, because you know that's what you're going to find in all their documentation. It's the Holy Roman Empire. You make sure you put so-called in front of that every time you say it. I don't care if you say it 20 times, then 20 times you say so-called. Because wasn't nothing holy about it. Absolutely nothing. This so-called Holy Roman Empire is where all these child molesters come from. And I mean, they've ruined people's lives. Then we get upset when Eddie Long start doing it. Where you think he learned it from? See, we don't understand that he was trained by a Euro-Gentile named Earl Paul. See, we got our selective amnesia. We don't remember the Euro-Gentile who trained Eddie Long. We just mad at Eddie Long. What about the one who came before him? You don't remember he got trained by somebody? Go ahead.
Verse 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the ancients of days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like pure wool.
So now he's dealing with, think about how far off. This is how it's very, very difficult to be a prophet in Israel. The stuff that he's talking about is not going to, not only is it not going to happen in his time, it's not going to happen in his children's time. Understand, now we're talking about Yahshua. We're getting to the point, even when you look at the notes on some of this stuff, it says Matthew. They wouldn't even had that to link it up yet. Matthew. How you going to link this up? There wasn't no Matthew. Go ahead.
The hair of his head like the pure wool, his throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him.
And my elder would always say this is Yahweh on his chariot. Go ahead.
The judgment was set, and the books were opened. I beheld then because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake. I beheld even till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame.
And these great words that are spoken by this little horn, you have to consider. You know how blasphemous it is to call yourself the Holy Father? There's certain things that we just don't even consider. Wait a minute now. The book says, call no man your father. Wait a minute, you are the Holy Father? Wait a minute. So if you the Holy Father, you're God then. See, there's certain things that we don't even know to be upset about. And then our people go and bow down and kiss them. Folks go to weddings, and because they're Catholic, they want you to go and kiss the feet of the Catholic statue. That's a part of their wedding thing. So if you're going to be in my wedding, you need to go over there and kiss the feet of the statue. Well, it don't look good. Don't look good. Because I'm not kissing the feet of no statue. They just watch them all go, stand in line, kiss the feet. And they openly worship the adversary of the devil. When the Pope came to Yankee Stadium, he was standing in, they had a fireball decorated in the ground. So he was standing in the fireball, had a staff that was a burst of flames, and he's holding this scepter of burning fire. And by the way, Yankee Stadium was packed. They couldn't find no more seats. See what happened when you go to see Satan? You got to start early. Everybody just knocking each other out the way. Look, we could not be late. You do not want to be late. Just go see Lucifer. We love him. Right. They buying tickets, pushing people out the way to go see the king of the Luciferian worshiper and the king of the child molesters. This is who our folk, and don't get it twisted. Many of us was in that crowd. Many. But how we got to be a part of that was through, as these people went on to conquer the earth, they took their doctrine with them. And basically, you either became a Christian or you died. And that's the part that our people don't remember. See, now most of us have dealt with this Christian doctrine our whole lives. So we didn't go back and do any history to find out, well, how we got to be that way. First of all, we Methodists or Baptists, based upon if the slave master who owned us was either Baptist or Methodist. We didn't make those decisions. They were made for us. But a whole lot of killing had to happen for those doctrines to be in place. You think it's just some kind of coincidence? You go and see all of these Spanish brothers and they all worshiping Mary. And you're like, well, wait a minute, man, how y'all get this way over there? Yeah, they went over there killing everybody and look at convert or die. That took care of the business right there. Go ahead.
Daniel chapter 7 and verse 12. As concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and time. I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him.
Right. So then now you're dealing with the end part of this rulership. You're dealing with the punishment after the fact, keep in mind, none of this has happened. He is getting this in the beginning. Go ahead.
And there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me. I came there unto one of them that stood by, and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me, and made me know the interpretation of the things. These great beasts, which are four kings, which shall arise out of the earth.
Right, and we can go back now in our history book and find those things. Not when this was written. Go ahead.
But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom.
This is why they don't want you to read the Old Testament. The saints of the Most High are going to have to take the kingdom. Yahweh made David king. He says, I found a man after mine own heart. Yeah, you gonna move King Saul out the way. You're going to be my king. I'm anointing you. Anoint him for me. Yeah, anoint him king. All right. All right, now they finna kill you. What? I thought you just told me I was gonna be king. Yeah, if you live. Watch out. Here he come. Now he got to run for this man for an extended period of time. Saul trying to kill him. But Yahweh said, you the real king. Yeah, but that dude got the crown. Yeah, I know. All you gotta do is go over there and get it. He got an army. I got a few mad dudes over here. They just angry. They not strong like that. He said, give it a minute. But he grew David little by little. And how did he grow him? With people who were mistreated in other places. So the people got mistreated. This is how, see, you got to understand the poetry and how Yahweh does something. He tells this dude, he basically, he got a few people he hanging out with. Now all of a sudden he tell me, oh, you're going to be king. Man, how am I going to be king? And these people keep getting mistreated. Before you know it, he get mighty men and more mighty men and more mighty men. Now things starting to change. So these people are being mistreated and they have no idea that that's how Yahweh is sending them to David. Ain't nobody float down the hall and told them, you need to go to David. No. They went through so much hell where they were like, I'm out of here. They ain't know where they were going. Man, I heard that David dude was down there. All right, let's go down there. Right. Yahweh sent them down there. They thought it was their idea. See, that's our problem. We so smart, we think we making the decisions. The decision wasn't made by you. He lets you get mistreated so you'll walk out of there. He did that on purpose. And he grew this man into a kingdom little by little, same way. And you have to watch how Yahweh does things because he has a tendency to repeat his actions over and over and over. That way you'll know what he's doing. So that way, when it says the Spirit will bring something to your remembrance, you read something, you look at all of the things of how it happened, and then the Spirit just give you one or two words that pop into your mind. How David became king. All of a sudden, boom, everything that you're going through is starting to make sense. Right? Spirit ain't got time to teach you your ABCs. Spirit ain't got time to teach you how to count. You got to learn how to count and learn your ABCs on your own time. Okay? Spirit can't bring them to your remembrance that you ain't read. So you still got to read it. Spirit ain't got time to be drawing you pictures. All right, stand here, let me get this little stick. Now watch this in the dirt. No. Spirit like, look, I got other stuff to do. I'm going to give you about 2-3 words. Figure it out. Such and such, such and such. All right, I'm out. When that stuff happened with Joshua, one of them brothers that went in there, stole a Babylonish garment, stole some little gold, hid it up under his tent. They were supposed to win the next battle. They said, oh, this so easy. We ain't going to even send all the people up. We just finna go over here and just slap these people up. They didn't even send all the people. Next thing you know, 33 people dead. But it wasn't the dude who stole the Babylonish garment. That's the part you got to love about mess. It don't particularly get the people who do the mess. So 33 something people dead because he did something wrong. You know what Yahweh said to Joshua? Joshua down there crying on his knee, praying. Why are you on your knees? Get up. Don't you know why? Somebody done stole something and hid it amongst your stuff. Now go find out who it is. Hey man, this angel Yahweh, he could have told him. It was James Johnson in the 4th tent by the big oak tree on the left side of the valley. Go on over there and take care of it. Go get him now. No. Spirit like, you gonna figure out. And he's got to go through this whole process before he figures out who has the stolen articles. Yahweh not finna spoon feed you. You still got to do something. He says, I'm gonna fight with you. I'm not gonna fight for you. You don't get to sit down and have strawberries and powdered sugar while he over there swinging. You like, Yahweh, you missed one. There's one over there. This is delicious. No, man, you got to swing. No, we're fighting together. I'm not fighting for you. Come, let's go. Where's your part? You gonna do something, right? You're not just gonna sit there and watch me fight. Go ahead.
You know, in verse 18, this is the thing for those who know, this is what has the nations afraid of us coming together. Any little thing, a bunch of us get together, they right there, break it up.
Exactly.
What's going on?
Speaking of which, your sister got this little flyer, and I'm glad she got it because I want to do one just like it except opposite. It says, who are the black Hebrew Israelites? Now, a white man walked up to her and gave her this. First, he asked her about the shofar, and he passed out this thing on the shofar. Now, if y'all look at that shofar, y'all know enough to know that that's the wrong shofar, right? Yahweh has a ram's horn. This is a kadu, a African kadu. This is not offered on Yahweh's altar. Cannot be offered on Yahweh's altar. She told him that. He said, yeah, I know. See what I tell you about the heathen? It's not about whether or not they know. They know it's wrong. Oh, I'm going to do it anyway. Oh, and when you read it, it says that. It says, let's see, the shofar is an ancient Jewish instrument made from horns of various animals. There are many, second sentence, there are many accounts of ram's horns being used in the Bible. Sentence number 2. After the destruction of the Second Temple, many Jewish people were relocated to other lands, and the kadu horn became a popular shofar. You see how they make a reason for their lie? Sentence number 2 mean they know that they're doing the wrong thing. But sentence number 3 said, I'm doing the hell I want to do. That's what it said. So I'm going to have to, speak disobedient for you, because a lot of y'all don't speak disobedient. So I had to translate for you. Second sentence, there are many accounts of ram's horns being used in the Bible. In other words, we can document. Listen, learn how to hear. We can document that the ram horn, brother, grab that horn. We can document that this is what this means. There are many accounts of ram's horns being used in the Bible. That means we can prove that this is the horn. Sentence number 3. After the destruction of the Second Temple, many Jewish people were relocated to other lands, and the kadu horn became popular. I don't give a damn what's popular. Here, man. Translation. Keeping them got a kadu. And them. Translation, and them. This is like a child coming home trying to tell their mom, well, mama, everybody's doing it. Well, you ought to watch everybody, because you sure ain't gonna do it. I hope you took some pictures. Right. So I'm glad and to make the point that the brother was saying, It bothers them when you read this part, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom. See, instead of having all of those things, it's these things here dealing with this fourth kingdom, and all of the things leading up to it, that we can prove that they are not the people that they say they are. We can prove that the people who say that they are Jews are not Jews. And that is starting to bother people. So then you got white people. When last time you seen white people walking down the street passing out literature? And they not Jehovah's Witness.
Or Mormons.
Or Mormons. Asked the man if he was Jewish. Well, I'm not Jewish, but I like the Jewish people. Oh, really? That's interesting. Right. Got them nice little pamphlets made up. And now what they're trying to do within this is discredit Deuteronomy 28 and saying how it could not be possible that black people could be the Jews. It just could not be possible. He's going to deal with, any and all righteous from every land, which is true. But had I been in that conversation, it would have been a few different questions. My first one, so did you think slavery was righteous? Right. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 19. Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others.
Right. This is the one he wants all the information on. See? This is one of those things that we have to realize. Sometimes your focus is in the wrong place. You want all the information about what it is you got going on right now. And you need to be thinking about, let me find out about the stuff that pertains to my redemption. Because if this stuff is going to pass, what I need to know all the information about this for? Ain't nothing you're going to be able to change about what's going to happen tomorrow. It's already in gear. So you can huff and puff, but you ain't going to blow nobody's house down. Tell me about this part when my people get redeemed. Talk to me about that part. Go ahead.
Exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass, which devoured, brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake great things.
Right, and when you look at these 10 kings, you see how they have ruled for so long. Basically, they've all been fighting one another for power over the exact same rulership. And if you don't think these prophecies in this book is real, you have to ask yourself, why would Nikita Khrushchev go to the United Nations, take off his shoe, beat on the table with his heel, and tell the American president, we are going to bury you, for it was given to us by prophecy? Right. Go ahead.
Whose look was more stout than his fellows. Verse 21. I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints, and prevailed against them.
Right. So then we understand that it is the Romans, the Europeans, and the Catholic Church who have been warring against us, even by teaching us this twisted doctrine. Go ahead.
Until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High.
The Ancient of Days. You're talking about some situations. You think we go through some problems. Consider having all of this dropped on you. That he just tell you the next 2,500 years. What? We can't handle the next 25 minutes. And he done gave him the next 2,500 years. All right, this is what's going to befall your people. Man, I got to go tell them this. Man, you know your people. You gonna tell me the future? I'm gonna need a weapon from the future. Give me a ray gun or something. I'm gonna have to kill a few of them. Man, you know they don't take disappointment lightly. Yeah. And give me an extra clip in my ray gun, cause you know Israel. Go ahead.
And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom, Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth.
Now, and it came time that the saints possess the kingdom. So everybody else has to get their opportunity first. This is how we know that the people that are there are imposters. The Ancient of Days have to come. The children of Israel don't get the land back until the culmination of all the evil. So when the people get ready to say, the chosen people have returned back to the land, they say, that happened in 1948. Well, tell me about the peace then, because I ain't seen no peace since they've been in there. Either you lying or the book lying. I have a tendency to believe the book. Go ahead.
Which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down, and break it in pieces.
Right. This experiment of democracy, they're trying to push it everywhere, all over the earth. They're trying to make democracy go everywhere. And democracy is already a strange thing, because it really doesn't exist in the form that we think it does. We have the Pledge of Allegiance. And it says what? To the Republic. And you go ask anybody and they say, what kind of government do we have? Democracy, sir. We have a democracy. Wait a minute. Their pledge says that this was a republic. But then once they devised the democracy from within inside of the republic, then they got two mirror governments. They operate on one side and get you to operate on the weak side. See, the republic is where your power is. That's the one that was made, so-called by the people, for the people. Mm-hmm. Democracy don't give a damn about none of y'all. Democracy care about making money. Democracy, everywhere they so-called push democracy, watch the deception that goes on, and before you know it, everybody rich. The poor getting poor and the rich are getting richer. They'll just create things to make money. They say, we need, this air, there's pollution, so we need to create a clean air bill. Then they say everybody in the city got to get emission. Boom. They the first ones to do it. They got businesses set up everywhere. Before we figured out, they done made $1 kajillion on emissions. That's what democracy does. It creates money out of thin air with make-believe taxes. And they're taxes on things. You got a car, you got to get emissions. So they keep making things that you don't have a choice but to pay. And all it is a tax. I don't care what you think it is a tax. Go ahead.
Nowadays we find it strange when we hear of a black Republican coming out of slavery and being given the right to vote. Our people were Republicans.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do something to a black Republican now, boy. If you're Republican, you better keep that. That's a black cussing word. You better keep that under wraps, Jack. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, don't say that in public, But at the end of the day, you always voting for the lesser of the two evils. Mm-hmm. Because the game is so twisted. If you need $20 million to run for office, ain't nobody just gonna give you $20 million. Yeah, they'll give it to you. But then they say, well, I need a couple favors. That's how we get the twisted laws. That's why corporate America owns this place. This is why the drug companies can keep putting out tainted medicine. They have passed laws that you can't sue them but for so much. So if I can make $4 billion selling bad medicine, but you can't get any more than 200-300 million, then that's just the cost of doing business. Then I can kill as many people as I want, make about 4-5 billion. Once you get up to the cap of the 200 million that I got to pay out, it's time to change that to another name and put out another drug. That's the game they play. Why? Because they bought the politicians. You can't sue them but for so much. Why do you think this new thing, everybody catching the measles now? Everybody need to get a shot. Hey, those people already have a certain level of immunity to people who make the vaccines. And the same people who make vaccines for regular people, y'all do know they have government contract to make biological weapons, right? Mm-hmm. How I know you didn't mix them up in the pile? You know what I'm saying? Like, Sock, come on get this flu shot. No. And I get the shot and I really flew. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, what happened? Oh, we give you that flu. Oh no, we didn't mean to do that. We sorry. No, brother. They got some stuff that's in them shots that them brothers be in the military, be in cold water trenches, never get a sneeze. Come home and good wind blow and they get a cold. They be like, what is that? They're right, that shot done well. It don't war. Man, I don't know what's in them shots. And now they pushing more and more people. You got to get this shot. They starting to hit people with something like $1,000 per day if you do not take this measles shot. And they put these shots are layered on several levels. It's not just you think you're getting one thing. You know, people don't even read the documentation. They give you the documentation. Like the commercials, they have to tell you that something's wrong with it now because they force them to tell, list the side effects. But we're so busy looking at the people smiling in the commercial and we hear the music that we don't pay attention. It's the music and the people dancing. Take Travaxel. Yes. We like, oh my goodness, the people dancing. It's like, may cause hearing loss. Eye loss, your feet may fall off. You may die. What? Wait a minute. You don't put that behind music. That don't sound like lyrics. Right. And they list right out there. If you have died from taking this medicine, call us. How I'm gonna call you if I'm dead? Read, man.
Verse 24. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them. And he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall swear, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. And think to change times and laws.
And we already know they've done that. They've changed the Sabbath day. It was Emperor Constantine that changed the Sabbath day from Saturday to Sunday and made it law for them in their kingdom, and it has spread all over the world. So now you have people, when you start talking about the Sabbath, they say, oh, that's that old stuff. Man, that was 321 AD. We're talking about 300 plus years after Christ, then they changed the Sabbath day. If Christ changed it, it would have been changed 300 years before. Why? The Apostle Paul was still keeping the Sabbath day after the birth, death, and resurrection of the Mashiach. All through the book of Acts. Not only is he keeping the Sabbath, but he's going back keeping the holy days. Constantine was a political figure. Sometimes to make people understand how stupid that is, to believe that the Sabbath was changed by a political figure, that's like letting Donald Trump tell you what day to go to church on. Now let that sit for a minute. Is that where you want to take your spiritual leadership? That was essentially who he was. He had absolutely nothing to do with the church whatsoever. Nothing. Didn't even accept Christianity until, like 2 hours before he died? And makes sense. The Christian doctrine says what? As long as you accept the Lord right before you die, you're good. Right? That's what he did. He did murder and mayhem his whole life right before, he get... Forgive me, Lord. And now everybody think that's what you gotta do. They think it worked. Because that's exactly what he did. Go ahead.
And think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion, to consume and to destroy it unto the end. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High.
Okay, pause. You need to rattle that around for a minute. The kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven. Pause. See, every last one of the sons of Noah have gotten their opportunity to rule the earth. During the time of us being in our own land, we still only ruled our own land. I don't think y'all understand what we're getting here. See, Yahweh is the creator of the whole earth. You don't just get your land. They all got to come to you for everything. This is what frightens the people who have ruled over us rigorously. That's why they're trying to go to another planet. They're like, they're going to rule the whole earth. I'm getting the hell out of here. We need to go to Mars. Boy, they got space stations. You got millionaires trying to buy a spaceship. For real, man, this is what you're going to spend your money on, a spaceship. They're buying tickets to a space station. Because they said, look, they read this book. They said, man, if them black people going to rule, I got to get out of here. But do understand, black people not going to rule nothing. Hebrew Israelites are going to rule. Black people going to die. I'm sorry, that was a little harsh. Is that harsh? I'm sorry. Understand something. He didn't give us a law until he was about to give us a land. You need to have something to govern you by. That's why it's called a government. You have land, you need to know how you're going to operate that land. So we're not going to be able to treat people like they've treated us. But that's what this book is for. This book tells us that we can't treat people like they've treated us. But black people not going to deal with that. Because they not reading the book. See? They just going to be happy they got power. And people who have had no power and then get some, they are the most reckless people with power ever. You find out why people who have had money for a long time, they don't like to be around new money. Them folk who get new money, they don't know how to act. And new money, man, they got diamond toe rings, they get diamond encrusted gym clips, they just gaudy. They like, man, why y'all let them move in this neighborhood? Well, they could buy the house. Go ahead.
Shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him.
Right. And that's what they don't want. That they're going to have to answer to Yahshua, who is going to lead according to what's written in this book, and he's a Hebrew Israelite. Go ahead.
Hitherto is the end of the matter. As for me, Daniel, my cogitations much trouble me. My countenance changed in me, but I kept the matter in my heart.
And that had to be a very, very difficult matter to keep, to have to hold all of these things. But understand, it is Yahweh who is telling his prophets what is going to befall his people, but it's other nations that are doing it. So, a lot of times you get, questions where people was like, how did the nations know? Hey, he told us before he told the nation. By the way, the Chaldeans finna come in here and kill y'all. What? But check this out. You go back and read the book. Our people said, look, hey, talk to us in the Syrian language. Don't speak to us in Hebrew. We don't want the rest of them to hear. No! I'm going to say everything so everybody can understand what I'm saying. That's us. So it wasn't a surprise Let's go to Revelation chapter 13. And you know, we talked about those slave Bibles last Sabbath. And in those slave Bibles, they purposely only put, you know, these things of, you know, servants do good to your masters, you know, basically be good slaves. This stuff about redemption, this stuff about taking the kingdom, they said, no, that kind of stuff can cause a revolt. Don't let them slaves read that. So to this day, you have a whole lot of us that will not go anywhere near the Old Testament, and we don't understand that we've been programmed that way. Because you're gonna learn some stuff that they don't want you to know. Revelations chapter 13. And when I said they, I mean the powers that be. Because I know people gonna try to put that and think I'm talking about all Euro Gentiles. That's not what I'm talking about. Go ahead.
Revelations chapter 13 and verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power.
I'm sorry, who gave him his power?
The dragon.
So when we deal with these nations, point blank, they serve the adversary, the devil. And Roman Catholicism and Christianity came out of it. So people think you're saying something mean and you saying something, oh my God, I can't believe that you're saying that they worship the devil. Where they get their power from? I didn't write this. They got their power from the adversary, the devil. And it's them, those seats of authority that he used to persecute us. They persecute us through policy. I'm sorry, sir. I've been looking at your credit. You can't get this. I'm sorry. Your insurance is going to be a little higher because you live down there. What? What? Why my insurance high? I ain't made no claims. Why my insurance high? So a lot of those live near you. Oh, okay. Right. Policy. See, all that. It's not a problem, sir. It's just our policy. Right. They put racism in their paperwork. Go ahead.
And his seat and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed.
Right. This so-called Holy Roman Empire has regathered itself. It's the European Union. It was dead for a long time. Now, she can't get her power fully back because her daughter in the way. Her little experiment called America. That's what's stopping the mama from getting all her power back. And she the one that's going to step aside and let her get destroyed. You got to think, everything that happens in Europe, America is directly connected. Everybody want to hear everything that happened with the king and the queen and the prince and the duchess. Oh my God, they want to hear everything about it. But they can't get their rulership the way it used to be because America has that power now. Go ahead.
And all the world wondered after the beast.
Uh-huh.
And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him?
Mm-hmm.
And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given unto him to continue 42 months.
So when you consider all of this power that America has pushed out on the earth, she has gone to war with pretty much everybody, yet have not had one building catch on fire in a war. Not one. The little spat she had was with her mama. That's it. See, it was much easier to go through something like Vietnam because none of it happened here. We didn't have to deal with it. Our people saw it on the news. We saw it on Time Life magazine. That's what made people get upset and push to stop the war. It ain't like we were walking down the street and a bomb, hit the 7-Eleven right before we went in it. We didn't have to feel it. But Russia said right in the open, when this conflict happened, America not going to be able to sit comfortably on the other side of the water. We got some stuff that's going to be able to hit you within seconds. So you go ahead. You do what you got to do. But do know you're not going to be sitting over there eating strawberries and powdered sugar no more. Oh, you're going to be in this fight. See, you find there's a lot of people that can talk fighting until the fight start. Oh, man, I knew some folk that talk game. Boy, they talk the best fight ever until the fight started. And you look and you couldn't even find them. Hey, where was the dude who started the fight? Where is he? Fight start at the beginning of the bus. When the fight ends, he in the last seat, sitting down. How you get back here? You started the fight. Right.
I'm better at talking about the fight. I'm not really good at swinging and stuff.
Right. Go ahead.
And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against Elohim, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven.
Right. You blaspheme when you said the son of Elohim is named Jesus. That name wasn't even in the first English translation of the Bible. So they come up with this name 1,630 years later. Now, how we fall for that one? It could at least been like 300. I mean, you see the Sabbath lie. It was 300 years later. Okay. But 1,630 years later, how we fall for that one? Man. Go ahead.
And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of the life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world.
Right. Remember earlier it said the books were open. See? You got what's written in the book according to what we're supposed to do. You got this Lamb's book of life, but then you got your book. See, you got a book, got your name on it. What's in your book? You said the books was open. All right, we got this book over here. This is what you're supposed to do. All right, now this is what you did. Now let's read these books. No. Come on, let's read these books. Let's read these books right here. See, that's one thing my elder used to say all the time. Every idle word we're going to give an account for. Do understand that I ain't just writing that down. My mom used to tell me when I was little, it's a scorekeeper in the sky. What you put out there eventually going to come back. I don't care how slick you think you are. I don't care how dark you thought it was when you did it. It was midnight black. Nobody seen me. Yahweh like, look at him sneak through the grass. Look at the guns. Right. He was watching you. Go ahead.
If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leads into captivity shall go into captivity.
Right. So they don't like you to read that part. You ever notice that another part, Christianity does not like the Old Testament and they do not like Revelation. Why? Because the people who led us into captivity are the ones that put up the money to start our churches. Keep looking behind the big black televangelists and you find their white counterpart. We see Creflo Dollar talking about his plane and all the money he got. Keep looking and you run into Kenneth Copeland. Right, that's his daddy. Right, he run into his daddy and he got to ask his daddy, can I do this? Yeah, you can do it, my son. Right. Keep looking behind the rich black pastors, you gonna find the white one that gave them the money and is ultimately in charge. And they have to give a percentage of their offerings back to that organization. So that's why we ask for so much money in those organizations. That's why it's 4, 5 offerings. Need a building fund. Ain't built nothing in years. Because a percentage got to go back to the parent company. Big business. My elder used to say, the church is the biggest banker on Monday morning. You realize that church got... Yeah, I want you to think about something. You know, you see the people sometimes in McDonald's or something like that, you'll see the manager go over to the bank. You ever notice you ain't never seen a church go to the bank? Yeah, they got their own key. Yeah, they can walk in there and just drop the stuff. Or they get folk come up there and pick it up. Or they get curb service. They get curb service. I'm talking about bags upon bags. Curb service. Somebody come pick it up. I'm talking Sunday. I'm sorry, ain't the bank closed that day? Ain't the bank closed that day? I don't remember seeing a bank open on Sunday ever. But they ain't never in the bank. But they got the most money in town. But you ain't never seen them at the bank. They go in the side though. You see the door, you be like, what that door? I didn't even know that was a door. I thought it was bricks. Right. You look up there and the bricks move. What? What? He just disappeared in the wall. Did you see that? Right. Right. They know what they're doing. They're stacking that money. Running game on our people. Go ahead, bro.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And I beheld another beast coming out of the earth. And he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed.
So when the Pope get all of their power, they're going to try to go and get everybody to deal with this European thing. But his power is getting so high, he is starting to have problems with his own European counterparts. Which basically, when you read the whole thing, it's them fighting against each other over the same rulership. So eventually, they still fight one another. They go and conquer the world, and then they fight each other over what all they got. Go ahead.
And he does great wonders, so that he makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
And you ain't going to be able to tell us that ain't Jesus. When he make fire, think about it. During the book of Job, they said the fire of Elohim came out and scorched them and burned them up. They said it was a fire of God. You read the book, it was the adversary of the devil that did that. Now, it was Yahweh that said, all right, I'm going to step back. You can't take his life. But hey, he was like them kids and then all that cattle, all that substance he got. Oh, I can get all that stuff. So when they saw fire shoot out of heaven, they said, oh, it's got to be God. That was Lucifer. And that was then. Think about it happening during this day and time. Fire shoot out of heaven, and they're going to already be worshiping him before the smoke clear. By the time the smoke go up, their face going to be down to the ground. God has came in the flesh. And you ain't going to be able to tell them nothing different. Go ahead.
And deceives them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast.
He is deceiving them by the actual miracles that he has the ability to do. Now, you're talking about real miracles. Our people deceive by fake pass outs on Sunday morning. What, the dude go in and he just touch the people and they pass out? You walk up close, you'll see one eye open. Wait a minute, man, get up. We fooled by that. So imagine if real fire shoots out of heaven. Check that out. We fooled by the fake, and I have been a part of one of them fake pass outs. I ain't just telling you what somebody else told me. Or the guy was squeezing my temple with his thumb and the pinky and kept shaking my head because I did one of them $1,000 prophet lies. You had to pay $1,000 to come down and he was going to prophet lie over you. And he tell people you going to own a business, you going to do that and blah, blah, blah. But I wouldn't pass out. So I got something like plant early for good coin. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get a good prophet lie, you know, because everybody else passed out. And there was a dude behind each person. He kept moving as the other guy moved. And I thought, oh man, he is there to catch the people just in case they pass out. I finally realized the game when they got to me. And if I would have paid attention, I would have saw a bit of worry on the pastor's face when he got there. Because I just didn't look like the kind of dude that was going to pass out. And he was right. I'm not passing out, brother. No. I came here standing up and I shall leave standing up. You understand what I'm saying to you? So he grabbing my head and he's shaking it. And the other dude is pulling me from the back. And I'm like, no, man, real brothers don't pass out. Real brothers don't pass out. And they keep, real brothers don't pass out, man. So eventually they realized that I wasn't going down. He turned around, he looked at the pastor, he planned early for good coin. Moved on to somebody else. But that was probably the beginning of my real life. That I wouldn't go with this charades. I looked down, this 5-6 people fake passed out. Now, I didn't know they was fake passed out at first. Until they got to me. And I knew for a fact. Because I'm looking, because you know, you don't see all the ones that's all the way down. But you see that one next to you. And I was like, you know, that was a strange fall. That fall didn't look like nobody. I done seen somebody get knocked out before. You understand what I'm saying to you? And I'm talking about where the knees buckle and the eye, you can tear the eye across. You know what I'm talking about? And the dude would just be like, it'll be afternoon. He'd be like, Mom, I want some eggs. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he out. I done seen somebody get knocked out before. And the way that one right beside me, I said, that didn't look kosher. Then they got to me and I was like, I know that was fake now. That ain't how nobody look when they pass out. But we so busy in the show of things, we miss that little sleight of hand in the magic trick. See? We missed the magic trick. See? Keep your eyes over here. Keep your eyes over here. Oh, you missed that one. Right. Go ahead.
Saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword, and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead.
And this is why we have to be out of here before the final destruction of the daughter of Babylon. Because if they put us in a situation where we have to receive the name, number, and mark, we're going to be fighting people in line to get our name, number, and mark. It's going to be fights in the line. I want to get my name and number first. I worship Lucifer better than you do. Right. He going to have to get us out of here. Because we're going to take it. We're going to take everything they offer. You got to consider, we work, all this work we do, and we stack money in our bank account, and we feel good. But man, it come to a time you got money in that bank and you can't get to that money. Man, people going to lose it. You mean tell me, so you see my money? Yeah, I see it. But you're not going to give me my money. Nope. Somebody dying in here today. You can believe that? You can believe that, bro? No, somebody dying today. Let me go and call my mama, call my baby. Baby, I love you, but I'm about to go. I'm about to go. They see my money, but they won't give me my money. That's exactly what Europe is doing to Venezuela. They say, yeah, we got your money. But we don't really like your leader. So we're not really going to give you your money. Oh, and I know you people starving. Yeah, so all you got to do is, get rid of that guy and get the guy that we can control, and we'll let you have your money. which will basically be like me having your money since I control him. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 17. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that has understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
So we are then dealing with the leadership of this Catholic Church, and every last one of them have that same title. Let's go to Revelation chapter 17.
Revelations chapter 17 and verse 1. And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto you the judgment of the great whore that sits upon many waters.
Now, if I just up and say this, people say I am just a brutal guy who is so harsh. How is he gonna call the church a whore? The Bible called the church a whore. Every last one of them so-called holidays come from a different God. That's not the same God. Easter was Astaroth. That's one God. You got your Christmas. That's a different God. All of those are different gods. They don't come from the same place. But see, that's what happened when you conquer stuff all over the world. You got to make a way for all of those people to still be in one empire and get along. So then you put it under the umbrella, and that's what they did. They used this book and used the people who were dealing in Christianity, and they said, all right, we will take the Christian doctrine and use it as a front for what we want to do. Ain't no different between you got the government of the republic and then the government of the democracy. Let's hide the real one or the fake one inside the real one. So being Christian means being Christ-like. So that was something that, a term that was not made up by the children of Israel. It was made up by other nations. But if they were going to be Christ-like, that means they were going to do things that Christ did. They weren't planning on doing any of that. So they used the thing of Christianity, implanted all of these other worship days. This is why you're not going to find all of those days that they keep. You're not going to find them in this book, because they're cultural things that they have given to us as holy days. You find all of these things. I was talking about the watch night service. You can go to every church on New Year's and find a watch night service. But you can't find anywhere from Genesis to Revelation where there's a God that looks in the past and the future that we should worship on the eve of the new year. But if you go into European folklore, you're going to find a 2-headed God that looks into the past and the future, and his name is Janus, and they named January after him. Right. And every church does that on New Year's, and you can't find it nowhere in this book. So they're doing something that they're not telling us about. We going in the honesty and integrity of our heart, but they dealing with something altogether different and smiling at us the whole time and keep passing the plate around. Go ahead.
Verse 2. With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication.
The kings of the earth have committed fornication because now all these nations are trying to deal with this stuff. Go ahead.
And the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication.
Uh-huh.
So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
Now, if you remember the very first thing we read, it was the women with wings flying over to set up a house, a foul house in the land of Shinar, which is Babel. Now, that was the beginning of what Daniel was given. Now, we're in Revelations talking about the destruction of Babylon, and now we're back at this woman and this whore. And Yahweh had already told us what was going to happen. But what happened, it was so long ago that when those things then present itself, we've forgotten what we've been told. Go ahead.
The woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones, and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon, the Great, the mother of harlots.
Mother of harlots. So she's a maker of other whores. She's not just a whore, she's the mother whore. Go ahead.
And abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints.
Oh, so then this mother whore, her main focus is going to be to get as much of the saints as she can possibly devour. Go ahead.
And with the blood of the martyrs of Yahshua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore did you marvel? I will tell you the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carries her, which has the 7 heads and 10 horns.
Right, and we know that Rome sits on 7 hills, right? Go ahead.
The beast that you saw was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition.
Right, and even the little note over here says the last form of Gentile world power. I need you to just sit right there for a sec. Y'all do know Gentiles printed this book, right? I don't know if y'all know that. I didn't do this. I didn't print this. They put in here the last form of Gentile world power. And the people who scared, they put out little pamphlets and stuff like this. That's what they do. But it don't change what's in here. But they're hoping you don't read what's in here. So then you'll be swayed by these little things. Go ahead.
And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. And here is the mind which has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains, on which the woman sits. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he comes, he must continue a short space.
So then we deal with all of these things. We know that there's a constant change of power going back and forth. 1 minute they're going to join this European Union. Then they're going back and forth, fighting over whether or not they're going to set it up. And most of the issues are about money. Y'all ever pay attention to how many businesses, especially in corporate America, have you noticed how many of them are merging together? What do you think the European Union is? They merging their business. See, they preparing themselves to go and fight the son of Elohim. That's what they're preparing for. Go ahead.
And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition. And the 10 horns which you saweth are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. For he is the Adonai of Adonais, and King of kings. And they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful.
Right. So while they're telling you they are the Holy Roman Empire revived, while they're telling you that they are the vigor of God, they are preparing to fight and kill his son. All while telling you that they are the church. They're consolidating their power. to try and go against this man-child. Go ahead.
And he saith unto me, the waters which you saweth, where the horse sits, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues.
And when you consider how they spread Christianity with the sword, it has been spread all over the earth. It is on many different nations. I mean, you think that you just turn on the TV and hear about the Catholic priests molesting children? Go on the internet. That ain't just happening in this country. You find out they're doing it in every country they're in. And they have the same issue. Ain't none of them going to jail. They all are exercising their diplomatic immunity in those countries. The Pope has to allow them to lock up the priests who do those things. So what does that tell you? That means he's okaying it. He okays it. If he said it wasn't okay, they would have went to jail. See? He could easily say, no, y'all did this, y'all going to jail for what y'all did. He okaying it. Go ahead.
And the 10 horns which you saw upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire.
Right. So now we're talking about right in from with one another. Now they go to fight against the whore because this Catholic Church has ruled for so long. Now it's going to be anger from even within their own people coming at one another. So this is going to run this Pope away from this Vatican. See, this whole thing that they're trying to set up this temple so he can go over in Israel and proclaim himself as God. See, right now, he's already proclaiming himself as God, but he ain't did it in Yahweh's land. See, no. See, the ultimate part of deception is when somebody pretends to be you while they standing in your house. Oh, now see, now you done went. All right, bro, we got to fight now. It's one thing that you wanted to be me, but you doing it at your house. When I come home and you in my living room, how you supposed to take that you come home to your house and I'm in your living room and I say, yeah, I'm Eli, what's up, Sock? Hey, man, what's wrong with this dude, man? Something wrong with the dude. This guy got to proclaim himself as God while being in the Holy Land. It ain't good enough. He been doing it too long in his own house. Now I got to do it in your house. That's going to really make me God then. See, what happened when King David was about to die? How did the son get ready? He was going to take Solomon's rule, right? He had to get on a something of the kings to proclaim himself as king. And even when the thing went awry, to still try to establish himself as a leader, I got to have me a woman that the king used to have. See, if I get his woman, then I can establish myself as him. Right. Doesn't Lucifer say, I'm going to be just like the Most High? Right. So to be you, I got to come and sit on your seat. You always say anybody touch my seat, they got to die. Then the brother touched the ark by mistake, angel had to kill him. Lucifer say, oh no, that's not going to be a mistake. I'm sitting in that seat. You understand what I'm saying to me? I'm going to be just like you. You understand what I'm saying to you? So Yahweh, you got to die. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to cover the seat no more. I want to be in the seat. I want to sit in the chair. Okay. Go ahead.
For Elohim has put in their hearts to fulfill his will. And to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast.
Elohim has put it in their heart. See, this is the thing that people don't understand. They think they making decisions and Yahweh is pulling the strings. They swear it's their decision. We're going to go. You know what we ought to do? We ought to go over there and kill them people. Yeah. It's a good idea. I'm glad I thought it. And it was a demon in his ear. You know what you ought to do? What I ought to do? You ought to go over there and kill them people. You know what? I ought to go over there and kill them people. Good idea. Yeah, that was a good idea, wasn't it? Right. Right. That wasn't your decision. That was that demon whispering in your ear. See? That's why Judas, when the demon was done, he ready to go kill himself. I have betrayed innocent blood. Now, why you didn't know that the whole time you was doing it? Right, because that demon was in his ear, telling him everything that he was doing was right. But see, when that demon get through using your body, he leave you after that. He leave you to deal with the consequences. He not going to be there because he got to find another body after that.
Well, they about to kill this one. I got to find me another host. They gonna realize what you did in a minute. So
You just wait for somebody else to walk by. Ooh, that look like a good body. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, bro.
Until the words of Elohim shall be fulfilled. And the woman which you saweth is that great city, which reigns over the kings of the earth.
All right. Let's go. And you went through all of that. Let's go to Zechariah chapter 12.
Zechariah chapter 12 and verse 7. Yahweh also shall save the tents of Yehudah first, that the glory of the house of Dawid and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Yehudah.
You know, I've seen things on the internet because, you know, we have our people have been spread all across the globe. It's not just like we're just in America. But what ends up happening is a lot of times, you know, people think, well, you're only dealing with the Jews that's in America. You're not dealing with us, you know, and I'm not, you know, by any means trying to belittle any of our people that are in the other countries. But do understand, the other countries are not going to fall at the time that the daughter of Babylon falls. So when you deal with what's got to happen, it's got to happen with us before it happens with anybody else. See, when you're dealing with what we call a Jew, that is the tribe of Yehudah, and then you have the house of Yehudah, which is Benjamin, Yehudah, and Levi. Benjamin, the warriors. Yehudah, the kings come out of that tribe. And Levi are the priests. When it comes down to it, they are the ones that will always have to go through it the most because they got the most power. So everybody on the earth, all of our people are not going to have to go through that at the same time in the same way. They ain't going to get everybody out of the earth that been spread all across through the transatlantic slave trade and various other slave trades to go and put us all in the wilderness. No. Who lost the kingdom last? Yehudah. So who got to go get it back? Not all of Israel. That's the part that we're missing. And, you know, I don't want people to get it to the thing where, you know, we're belittling our brothers that are in other countries, because we have people that watch us from other countries. I mean, we have members from other countries. So we're not trying to belittle them, but do understand that fall ain't going to happen to everybody at the same time. Who they want to get rid of is this place. And it's their own folks that's going to do this. We ain't going to do it. Man, if we got to fight with these folks, it would last about 2.6 minutes. We ain't got the weaponry that they got. All them folks, we going to fight against the government. Good luck on that. I'm going to be over here. I ain't getting in that fight. Yahweh said, if you fight against the enemy that oppresses you in your land, okay, point number one, this ain't ours. Point number two, it ain't even theirs. They stole it from somebody else. So I'm going to fight for this for? No, the one I'm going to fight for is the one that belongs to us. That's what I put my life on the line for. Not this place. Go ahead.
In that day shall Yahweh defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as Dawid.
Right. So then he has to establish the order from within Israel. So he ends up giving power to the greatest last. Go ahead.
And the house of Dawid shall be as Elohim, as the angel of Yah before them.
Right. Because the house of David is where the kings come out of. So he says, I'm going to have to deliver the other ones in succession before I establish the house of Dawid, which is of Yehuda, but you're still dealing with a higher thing there because you're dealing with the lineage of the kings. So Yahweh even knows the order that he needs to redeem the children of Israel. You know, we all on going on that 23andMe, and we want to go and find out our DNA, and we want to do all that. Yahweh got my DNA. I don't need none of that. And I hope you know, you might get half your family locked up calling them people too. Because when you don't know it, they still researching your DNA. Oh, it ain't like they give it back when they done. Oh yeah, we did the test. Yeah, and you such and such. All right, well, give me my stuff back.
Oh no, we're going to keep this.
Next thing you know, somebody's murdered somewhere and they say, we found your DNA. How you get it?
Well, 23andMe gave it to us.
What? And who's to say they didn't put that in there? No, man. Never mind. I'll wait for Yahweh to tell me what tribe I belong to. That's what I'm going to do. I'll let Yahweh tell me. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem.
Right. And that's one of the things, one way or another, every nation on the earth has come against the children of Israel in one way, shape, form, or fashion, whether it was through monetary things of trying to pass things or even just funding the slave trade. They have had a part in dealing with us, and Yahweh gonna deal with everybody involved. We already know. He put these things in the book so that we'll understand how he deals. In the beginning, he says, "Do not eat from the tree." Okay, hey man, I was calling you. Well, I hid myself because you was calling me and I was naked. Who told you he was naked? What did he do? He dealt with everybody involved. And everybody tried to shift blame. It was this woman. It wasn't me. I know you, Yahweh. The woman. So then Yahweh goes to the woman. What happened? That serpent, he deceived me. I'm going to get him too, but I'm getting everybody. Everybody got theirs. No matter how much everybody, and that's what we all do. As soon as something happens, we think we going to okay our wrong by mentioning somebody else wrong. That in no way okays your wrong because somebody else did wrong. He going to get everybody involved. So no matter how good they hide their involvement with persecuting the children of Israel, Yahweh getting everybody involved. Go ahead.
That was it.
That was it. Let's go to Zechariah 13 and let's read verses 8 and 9. Because this is another thing that we have to deal with here.
Verse 8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, says Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third part shall be left therein.
So he has already then told us that 2/3 of Israel gonna die. He said he ain't even dealing with nothing but the remnant. He's gonna make a nation out of the remnant. So when you consider all of these things, see, sometimes you say stuff and people say, oh my goodness, that brother's so harsh. That stuff not coming from me. That was him that said he was going to kill 2/3 of his folk. Go ahead.
And I'll bring the third part through the fire and will refine them as silver is refined.
Refine them. So they're not going through the fire for him to kill them. They're going through the fire for him to purify them. See, fire only burns up wood, hay, and stubble. Fire don't burn up precious metal. So if you wood, hay, and stubble, when the fire comes, you're going to get consumed. You just going to be fire fuel. But if you are a precious stone, that stuff ain't going to do nothing but make you better. That's all that fire going to do. And once they hit that precious metal with that polishing cloth, it's going to gleam. Like, man, how you get that shiny? That fire, man. You remember that fire you took off running from? Yeah, that made me a better man. Right. Go ahead.
And will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people. And they shall say, Yahweh is my Elohim.
Right. So in this little twisted little pamphlet that the guy was putting out, he was like, we're not saved by race, we're saved by grace. You know, I was like, oh, that sounds so cute. But you notice even in here dealing with the lineage of his people, he's still getting 2/3 of us. After he purifies the third, then he says, this is my people. So understand that. So all that bloodline thing and everybody was talking about, well, I'm this tribe and I'm that tribe. And I'm like, congratulations, you get to die. Right. See, they forgot about that part. But he didn't call any of them his people. The refined who went through the fire and still was there. That's his people. Let's go to Zechariah chapter 9. See, there's a few lines we need to get out of here. Zechariah 9, and we're going to read verses 9 through 17.
Verse 9. Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, your king comes unto you. He is just and having salvation, lowly and riding upon an ass, and upon a colt, the foal of an ass.
Right. So then you understand why the Mashiach went and got that ass's coat. He said, you'll find this ass coat tied. Go get him. Tell him the Adonai have use of it. Right. He fulfilling prophecy and people have no idea what's going on. They just think he doing some cute stuff. Oh, he do this. Right. He doing it according to what's written in the book. Go ahead.
And I'll cut off the chariot from Ephraim, and the horse from Jerusalem, and the battle bow shall be cut off, and he shall speak peace unto the heathen, and his dominion shall be from sea even to sea, and from the river even to the ends of the earth. As for you also, by the blood of your covenant I have sent forth your prisoners out of the pit wherein is no water. Turn you to the stronghold, you prisoners of hope. Even today do I declare that I will render double unto you. When I have bent Yehudah for me, filled the bow with Ephraim, and raised up your sons, O Zion,
Listen.
against your sons, O Greece.
Wait a minute. The Yahweh saying the sons of Zion are going against the sons of Greece. So when people try to put out little pamphlets and say, oh, we making all of this stuff up, I'm just reading it. These ain't my words. Go ahead.
And made you as the sword of a mighty man. And Yahweh shall be seen over them, and his arrow shall go forth as the lightning, and the Adonai shall blow the trumpet, and shall go with the whirlwinds of the south.
Right. The children of Israel moved by the blowing of the shofar. So, if the people, and understand something, righteous judgment, gathering of the congregation, the moving of the people, even the sound in the holy days, is all by the shofar. But when you blow with that shofar, who the hell are you calling? The adversary, the devil. That's why everybody wants us to use the wrong one. They even tell us that they understand that it's the wrong one, but they still want us to use it. Why? Because they want to continue to rule over you. And if for an entity to be able to rule over you, they need for you to not access your true power. He says, you know, you blow an alarm when you go against the enemy that oppresses you in your land. But if you trying to call on Yahweh with some strange sound, he like, that ain't no trumpet.
No, Yahweh, this is like a clarinet. It's like a flutish thing I hear.
And Yahweh like, what the hell is that noise? Who blowing the flute? Who got the trumpet? Man, I don't even understand that. What are they doing? Is it a party or do they want me to come save them? I'm trying to figure out if they playing jazz or they need somebody to come save them. I'm confused. What horn is that? Because he know what he told us. We know what he told us. So why would we want to blow this horn? And it's very interesting how it's nothing but our enemies that keep pushing the wrong horn to us. You don't find that peculiar? That the enemy says he understands that it's the wrong one, but still blow it. What? Why would I do that? Especially when my connection to call him is connected with the ram. Do you understand that a ram is a male sheep? The lamb, which represents Christ. What the hell did this antelope represent? What does that represent? So I'm going to call him from that, but I can call him from the thing that was offered up to save me, which is the ram. Because that's a full-grown lamb. I'm sorry. He got his baptism at 30, right? Okay. Well, he was a ram. He wasn't no lamb no more. Okay. That then has spiritual significance. There's a reason why they want us to deal with the wrong one. Go ahead.
Verse 15. Yahweh of hosts shall defend them, and they shall devour and subdue with sling stones, and they shall drink and make a noise as through wine, and they shall be filled like bowls and as the corners of the altar. And Yahweh their Elohim shall save them in that day as the flock of his people, for they shall be as the stones of a crown, lifted up as an ensign upon his land. For how great is his goodness, and how great is his beauty. Corn shall make the young men cheerful, and new wine the maids.
Now, when I said that, people were looking at me crazy. Corn shall make the young men cheerful. What you make out of corn? Corn, liquor. Why would it mention corn in one line and then go to wine? I mean, that would be unfair. If you gonna give my wife wine and then gonna give me a bowl of corn. Y'all wait a minute now. Wait a minute. If she getting tipsy and I'm just getting full, that ain't right. That ain't right. That ain't right. I want to be happy too. I'd like to be cheerful. Right. But see, we got to establish our own righteousness. Oh, we're not going to drink any wine. We're not going to drink any liquor. You go to these offerings, and we were supposed to bring wine with the sacrifice. You find out why the Euro Gentiles living so long, because that wine helps kill some of those impurities in your heart. But we so overly righteous. Oh, I ain't going to drink no wine. I ain't going to drink it. Right. And that's why all them impurities still in your heart. That stuff help flush all the meats right out of you. See, but they being ignorant of Elohim's righteousness have gone about to establish their own. Let's go to the prophet Joel, chapter 3, because understanding this thing about raising up this Zion going against the sons of Greece, we need to read something so that we can establish that Yahweh says the same over and over.
9:32.
Okay. Let's see it. Joel chapter 3. And start that at verse 1.
For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Yehuda and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations, and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations, and parted my land.
Okay, so for behold, in those days and in that time when I shall bring again the captivity, that means cause the captivity to cease, I will gather all nations. So then this culmination of this fourth empire, this fourth beast, the end of its rule is connected with your redemption. That's why Yahweh saying, everybody, come on, let's fight. Everybody, come on down here. Come on. You two little peaceful nations, you say you peaceful. Come on, you've been hiding all the money from all this evil. Come on down here. They said Switzerland is always peace. No, come on, I'm gonna switch you when you get on down here. Come on over here, everybody. Come on, I got you. I got some switches for you. Come on down here. Come on, come on. Go ahead.
And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink.
Right. See, this is what's happened to our people. Show me where that's happened to the people who in the land that's calling themselves the Jews. Why we didn't see that in the shofar outreach ministries? Why did they leave that out of the pamphlet? Right. Read.
Yea, and what have you to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? Will you render me a recompense? And if you recompense me, swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head. Because you have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things.
They have so many priceless artifacts up under the Vatican. It is pitiful. One of the things the Jewish seen on one of them pictures, that they had a golden menorah that was taken out of the temple, and they said, we see this picture, y'all need to get that back. The Vatican moved it. We don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? They got all kind of stuff they done stole from all over the world in this place. Right. They took all his pleasant things and took them into their temple. The Vatican got all kind of little rooms, all of this stuff. I mean, priceless. I'm talking about stuff that costs so much they can't even put a price on it. It's that kind of money. And they got all kinds of stuff. Go ahead.
The children also of Yehuda and the children of Jerusalem have you sold on to the Grecians.
Wait a minute. That sounds familiar. See? He tells one prophet, what he says, I don't do anything until I tell my servants, the prophets, first. So then the prophets are going to back each other up even at different times. Go ahead.
That you might remove them far from their borders.
So now you understand why he says, I'm going to raise up your sons, O Zion, against your sons, O Greece. Why? Because you sold my people to the Grecians. And that's just one of the rulerships within this kingdom. You notice in one of those kingdoms, we talked about the beasts, but then as you start reading them, the beasts were merged together. Why? Because it was just different parts of that same kingdom. Go ahead.
Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither you have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head.
All right. So when those people came out of Germany, calling themselves the Jews, were they sold there? I'm sorry, that's not how they got there. Yeah, they were ran out of Russia. That's how they got into Germany. But nobody sold them. They went on their own. See, we didn't get here on our own. You didn't get a ticket. See, cargo don't need a ticket. You was cargo. Go ahead, bro.
You know, when you look in verse 6, it also says that ye sold, be sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their borders.
Right. Right.
So, yeah.
And these people want to say, well, we were always around here in this land. No. If you're removing them far enough from, their land that they might not even have an opportunity to return. Go ahead.
And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Yehuda.
That's why they putting out little twisted pamphlets like this. They scared. They scared. People who steal don't never want to be stole from. People who lie don't never want to be lied to. People who cheat don't never want to be cheated. They done took some of my money. What you just did last week? Oh, I took somebody's money. Right. And folks who make people go into captivity, it is utterly frightening to them to think about being in captivity after what you've done to somebody else. Go ahead.
And they shall sell them to the Sabaeans, to a people far off, for Yahweh hath spoken it. Proclaim you this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears.
Now, when you get right down to what's happening in this Gaza area, you deal with the British and America went over there, set up these people that they call the Jews, taught them how to war, gave them weaponry, gave them all of these things, while they took all of the weapons from the so-called Palestinians, left them people with sticks and rocks and homemade weapons, and then walked out. It was an all-out slaughter. It was an army, against a bunch of stick throwers. And to throw a rock at a tank, you got to be really ticked off. You know that rock not gonna do nothing to that tank, right? I don't care how mad you are and how hard you think you're gonna throw it. I'm gonna swing it. But that's a rock. That's iron. You should go sit down. Be mad over there. Because you're not gonna win against that tank. Go ahead.
Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all you heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause your mighty ones to come down. O Yahweh, let the heathen be wakened.
And they don't think this is their idea. And Yahweh drawing them all. See? They think it's their idea to come to the fight. He making them all come. Some of them may think they coming to watch. Now you coming to fight. Come on. Come on down. Oh yeah, the price is right. Come on down. Oh, come on down. Oh, you the next contestant. Come on. Go ahead.
Let the heathen be wakened, and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about.
Right. He don't think he's coming for his judgment, though. See, he think he's coming for to place judgment on somebody else. He don't know it's his. Go ahead.
Put you in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of Yahweh is near in the valley of decision. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining.
And this has not happened yet. So we're talking about prophecies that we can then find in other places of the book the same way. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. Yahweh tells you about things before they happen, so that you will understand when it comes to pass. Didn't I already tell you this? Go ahead.
Yahweh also shall roar out of Zion, and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake. But Yahweh will be the hope of his people, and the strength of the children of Israel.
All right, let's go to Isaiah chapter 14. I want to read a couple of things out of here. So we can go through our history book and prove how and what happened unto our people. The people who are in the land calling themselves Jews, they can't prove any of this. That's why they have to change the narrative and make you look at something else. They can't prove who they are through this book. You can prove who you are in this book. That's why they got to tell you, well, Deuteronomy 28 meant something else. No. Yahweh said that Israel was created to be a servant. See, we can explain slavery in 3 sentences. Yahweh said Israel was created to be his servant. He says, if you do not serve me, then you're going to serve your enemies in your enemy's land. So people want to know, well, we're supposed to be Christian. Why did the black Christians have to go through slavery? Because Yahweh gave you an option. Either serve me or serve everybody else. What you want to do? Serve Yahweh, please. You got to think. In this country, they came in and there were people here. They didn't have to go all the way across the water to go get some people. But they got this book just like we got this book. And matter of fact, our people translated it into Greek before there was even this thing that we call in the Bible. So they was able to read the prophecies in their own language because we translated it for them. So they knew. This is how you're going to get this, people. See, if they don't do this, then these things are going to happen to them. So let's make sure they don't even know his name no more. Let's just tell them that he got many names. Let's just keep twisting the narrative. So even when they get in trouble, they won't even know who to call on. You know, if you catch a child in his infancy, and the child amongst, you know, in your house is real easy. Child said mama and daddy. Now when they go out somewhere else, everybody somebody mama and daddy. And they say, what's your daddy name? Daddy? Wait a minute. I can't. You can't get on the intercom at Target. Excuse me, can daddy come to the front, please? Daddy, come to the front. Oh, daddy. You don't know your daddy name, boo-boo? Go ahead, man.
It says chapter 14 and verse 1. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land.
That is your redemption. Your redemption never was going to heaven. That was somebody else's dream. What he promised you was to be in your own land, and ain't no peace like being in your own land amongst your own people, and the stuff, everything there is yours, and it ain't never gonna leave your family. It go from generation to generation. You come back 10 generations later, and somebody from that family is in that house. Here, they take land like it's going out of style. In a righteous land, you can't even get somebody's land. Yahweh has it set up so you can get the land up to a certain point, even if you bought it. Then you got to give it back. See, they call the Indian, they said, they Indian givers. No, the Indian was going according to the things that's written in this book. No, the land is ours. We let you use it for a while. Now, in our book, when it come down to the Jubilee, that land go back to that person. It go back to that family. See? People supposed to be able to hand down their houses to their children, to their grandchildren, to their grandchildren, and all. It ain't never supposed to leave. This place so wicked. You can pay for a house. They'll come and take it for $400 of tax money. It'll be a $400,000 house. They'll take it for $400. It won't get you the rest of the money. Well, wait a minute. Now the house worth $400,000, right? You took it for $400. So I'm gonna need $399,000 and $600. Let's do it. Come on, when you go, how you gonna pay me? You wanna pay that cash charge? How you wanna play? You owe me the rest of, and that's the thing they don't do. when they take our folks' houses, they have equity in them houses. If that house is $100,000 house and they didn't owe but $20,000 left on it, there's $80,000 of equity left there. When they take that house, they're supposed to drop off $80,000. Yeah, all right, you got the house. Let me get what was left in that house, because that equity was mine when I had it. Let me get my equity. We don't even know the ass. Go ahead, bro.
And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and
because
handmaids.
People don't like that, that's why they pass out pamphlets like this. See, they got to make you believe that something is wrong with your thought process. I didn't write this. Yahweh did. If you have a problem, blow your little canoe at Yahweh. That's who your problem is. Canoe with him. Go ahead.
And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were.
See, now you're getting down to it, brother. Now you're getting down to it. Now I got to go talk to the fake Jews and say, okay, now tell me who slaves you were again. Right. You wasn't nobody's slaves. Go ahead.
And they shall rule over their oppressors.
This is what angers people. When you go to read this, it bothers people. Now you've become some kind of militant person. Why am I being militant? You didn't think you were being militant when you were ruling over people with rigor? How am I being militant? Because I read what thus says Yahweh, that you will have for captives those who captives you were. Now I become the enemy? Go ahead.
It lashes just because you didn't want to take a Christian name.
Hey, bro, it's very, very interesting how the narrative gets twisted, and we allow the narrative to get twisted because we don't go into this legacy and prove who we are to ourselves. It ain't about proving it to somebody else. You got to be able to prove it to you, because what's going to happen, they're going to give you low self-esteem about who you are, because they got millions and millions of dollars behind their marketing campaign. They can put out a commercial every two TV shows that say, you are not who you think you are. You are not who you think you are. And if you don't know for a fact, you're going to walk away thinking you somebody else. So you need to get that right in your own heart and mind. It's not about convincing somebody else. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass in the day that Yahweh shall give you rest from your sorrow and from your fear and from the hard bondage wherein you was made to serve.
Right. What hard bondage were the Jewish people who called themselves the so-called Jewish people? You found what? Lawyers and accountants. You know, what kind of hard language, labor was that?
I've been on this calculator so much my hands are bleeding.
What? That's not hard labor. And then if you don't pay attention, they try to slide the Egyptian captivity and say that was them. Gotta pay attention. Everything about the prophecy says that Israel would be captives after Egypt. Pay attention to the slickness of the lie. If all you can produce is Egypt, I know you're not Israel. Because the whole part was given after Egypt. You can't claim the Egyptian captivity, and he talked about a captivity that was going to happen after Egypt. Where's your one after Egypt, since you claim that was you? Right. Don't be fooled by the okie doke. Go ahead.
That you shall take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how's the oppressor cease? The golden city cease. Yahweh has broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in anger with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted and none hinders.
So you have to pay attention here. So now it's talking about the fall of this kingdom. Keep going.
The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing.
So when the daughter of Babylon fall, it is peace all over the earth. Because she ain't meddling in everybody else's business now. Now they can finally live like they want to live in their own land. You want to worship a dog, go over there and worship your dog. You think that cow is a god, you move on over there. Go on. Go ahead.
Yea, the fir trees rejoice at you, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since you are laid down, no fellers come up against us.
Uh-huh.
Hell from beneath is moved for you to meet you at your coming. It stirs up the dead for you, even all the chief ones of the earth. It has raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak and say unto you, are you also become weak as we?
Uh-huh.
Are you become like unto us?
Right. Because those evil angels have to be turned into exactly what they do not like. Mortal men. So that they can be punished. Go ahead.
Your pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of your vials. The worm is spread under you, and the worms cover you.
Now, the note here says Satan, the real prince of this world and organizer of Babylon. What did we read? They got their power from the dragon. Those are Lucifer's kingdom. He's ruling over his children. Go ahead.
How are you fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning?
Now, consider. So we're dealing with the destruction of the daughter of Babylon, and it goes hand in hand with the punishment of the adversary, the devil. But it's him that's been ruling. He has been using them to cause problems all over the earth. So the children of Israel cannot get our redemption until the great oppressor gets locked up. Go ahead.
How are you cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? For you have said in your heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Elohim. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north.
Right, I'm going to be just like Yahweh. I don't want to deal with these earthly people. I can't stand this flesh. Why you even got me down here working? During the time of Job, all the angels came to make their appearance. Lucifer came also. He said, where you come from? All from walking up and down to and fro in the earth. So he coming and going. But that's what angels can do. But he don't want to work down there. He don't want to deal with us. But see, Yahweh had to get him away from his seat. Because Yahweh saw him covered in the seat. See, I'm going to be just like you. No, you can't be just like me. Go ahead.
I'll ascend above the heights of the clouds. I'll be like the Most High.
I'm going to be just like, right. So then you understand, it says that the redemption of the children of Israel was them being set in their own land. Lucifer wants to rule in heaven. Now consider that Christian doctrine that we got, everybody died, they went to heaven. Why did he give us that doctrine? Because that's what he wants. So he told us what he wants is what we want. So we desiring something that was never even set for us. Go ahead.
Yet you shall be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see you shall narrowly look upon you, and consider you, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble?
Is this the man? So he got to be turned into a man so that he can be punished. Go ahead.
That did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners? All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, everyone in his own house.
Right. You read in the book, it says, for fear of the oppressing sword, everyone out of the daughter of Babylon shall flee to his own land. See, all these people in this country, they know where they came from. They got somewhere to go. Everybody except us. Africa is not a country, that's a continent. You can't just say I'm from this continent. That's like saying I'm from Earth. Well, congratulations. But where you gonna go? So when destruction and the rumors of destruction start, all these people know where they gonna go. They got somewhere to go. We the ones that's gonna be sitting here looking strange. Go ahead.
But you are cast out of your grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword. that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden under feet. You shall not be joined with them in burial, because you have destroyed your land
Your land.
and slain your people.
He got people. Go ahead.
The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned.
Uh-huh.
Prepare his slaughter for his children.
Right. My elder used to say all the time, because your daddy Lucifer. And when I first heard it, I said, man, that old man is rough. He told people they worship just like their daddy, the devil. Wait a minute. Oh, it wasn't just him being harsh. It's actually in this book. They his children. But then, didn't Christ say the same thing? Then Yohanan the Baptist say the same thing. Said that y'all bunch of poisonous snakes, and you will do just like your father, the devil. Go ahead, bro.
Prepare slaughter for his children for the lawlessness of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities.
All right, that's all that we're going to do for today. Hopefully that answered some questions about the children of Israel and how we got to this place. But not only that, but in also dealing with why there are things that have to happen. I stay away from a lot of those counts. I know a lot of people will say, you know, the prophecy says 400 years, and then people add up and they say, well, this should be at this time. See, our problem is we don't know when Yahweh started year one. We assume we know when year one is. You don't know when that is. He decides when that is. And that could very well be a part where we count, you know, when the first slaves got into Brazil, it might have been one ship that had the kings on it. And Yahweh said, count starts now. When them kings landed. And he said, all right, here we go. Because understand, even in the thing of dealing with Joseph, you know, who him and Miriam was to bring forth the body of the Mashiach, of Christ. Understand, Joseph was in the lineage of Dawid. So he still used somebody within that family. So what we counting, we wouldn't possibly be able to know who was on what ship and what their lineage was. So we need to just let Yahweh do his job while we prepare to do ours. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.